Thank you, GDefy, for being a sponsor of Newsmax podcast. GDefy shoes are the best choice for walking, running, and standing. If you spend a lot of time on your feet, these are the shoes for you. GDefy's patented Verso shock technology aligns your posture and perfects your gait. Go to GDefy.com and use the code MAX for $30 off on orders of $130 or more.
This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Breaking news, NBC reports Joe Biden had a cold. Yes, that is what they're going with. Joe Biden had a cold. He doesn't have a stutter anymore. He's gotten over the stutter, but he had a cold. They want you to think. I cannot believe Kelly O'Donnell actually tweeted that out. NBC News breaking he has a cold. No, Kelly, he's just 100 years old. He doesn't have a cold. He has dementia. And he has a big problem on his hands now. The Democrats have a big problem. Hell, the country does. He's still president for 6 more months. That's hard to believe. That man we just saw on stage in Atlanta debating Donald Trump is president of the United States. And all I can say is thank God, because he's going to do something about all those people being raped by their sisters and their in-laws. I've always said one of the biggest problems, people like to talk about the economy, the border, climate change. I've always said we must do something about people getting raped by their in-laws. Oh, you have to laugh. We'll get to it. We got it. We got all the sound. We got all the clips, the cuts. We got all the high points and low points and all the just train wrecks that were Joe Biden's answers to the questions. This is, I shouldn't laugh. This is a national crisis right now. This is an emergency. We have a dementia patient in the White House. He is running for re-election. He wants you to give him your vote, give him 4 more years. He wants to do the toughest job in the world for 4 more years until he's 86 years old. That's what he's asking. That's what the Democrats are asking. Make him president. Make him commander-in-chief until he's 86. He's 81 now, and he's completely incoherent, unhinged, confused. He's gone. He's shot. This is a crisis in this country. I mean, it's easily solved. On November 5th, obviously, any thinking person is going to vote Trump or vote RFK Jr. or vote for Cornel West. You can't vote for this guy. You can't. I'm sorry. I am so looking forward right now to what Joe Scarborough is going to say tomorrow. What are they all going to say? These people who have been living this fantasy, have been living this lie that he can do the job, that he's fit for the office. What are we going to hear from Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and Joy Reid and Bruce Springsteen, Rob Reiner, Taylor Swift, Tom Hanks? What are you going to say now? Where are you going to go with this? You're going to come out tomorrow and say, it wasn't that bad? Or are you just going to go with Trump's worse, Trump's Hitler, Trump's bad, Orange Man bad? We have to reelect this cadaver, this corpse, this vegetable. It's over. All right. So you don't have to. I just watched MSNBC. I had to for 10 minutes after the debate. They're all distressed. They know their guy is done. They know he's toast. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They still hate Trump. Yes. Chris Wallace. What are you going to say, Chris Wallace? Howard Stern, good one. I'm reading the comment line here as we speak. We live on everything right now, Ironhead.
Yeah, we're live on Twitter for the first time too, actually.
We're on Twitter for the first time. Good timing. I'm glad. It's good to be live after this because this is a huge moment in this country. This is bigger and better than I hoped. I'll just say in the outset, Trump wasn't great. All right. He was not great. We'll get to, I got my thoughts on Trump. I think, and it's pointless. I shouldn't do this to myself, but I think what would it be like if Vivek were up there on stage or Ron DeSantis on stage going toe to toe with Joe Biden? They would have called it off after half an hour. They'd have called in a doctor and taken him out on a slab. Trump was okay. He was smart not to get overly aggressive. He let Joe Biden speak, which is the smart thing to do. He had some good moments and some not so great moments. We'll get to them. But Joe Biden, your president, was an abject disaster. And anybody who tells you anything else, anybody who tells you he was okay, he's lying, okay? They're just flat out lying. Tomorrow morning, Joe Scarborough, Mika, Mike Barnacle, all the whole crew, the Danny Deutsch, they're going to lie to you. That's all they can do. Their only choice is to lie or wave the white flag and say, he's done. They must replace him. They must find someone else. Of course, that's problematic because Kamala Harris is waiting in the wings and she's just as bad. I was going to say worse, but nobody is worse. There's never been a worse presidential candidate. There's never been a worse political candidate than this 81-year. And we're not even talking about his corruption. We're not even talking about his policies. We're not talking about his open border, inflation, endless wars. Those are bad. He's a really, really bad president. He's a really bad person, a terrible person. But he's not fit for the office. That's the most important thing right now. We got to look at him. 90 minutes in a debate that they wanted, a debate where they made all the rules, where they got their way. They got no audience. Imagine if there were an audience. It'd have been worse. No audience. He had Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. And I'll just say, we'll get to that, but they weren't terrible. They weren't terrible. They asked questions. They stay out of the way. We didn't even notice when they were muting Trump's mic. They seemed fair and balanced, and they weren't a problem. So they can't blame the moderators. They can't blame Trump. They can't blame the rules. I don't know. What do you blame? If you're Biden's team right now and you have to spin this, where do you go? You just say he had a cold, and do you just lie and say that he was good or he was, passable? Here we're looking live at him trying to get off the stage. Oh my goodness.
Not
Dr.
good.
Jill. That's live right there.
That
That's
was her getting him off the stage to then go on the speech that she made afterwards.
Go to the spin room and she takes the mic.
Yep.
We learned a few things. One, she's the worst wife, the worst spouse, the worst elder abuser in the world. She wants her husband to go through this. She wanted him to be on display in front of 100 million viewers. She wanted him to be humiliated. She's so drunk with power. She's so determined to hang on to power that she put her husband through this. No loving wife, no loving spouse would do that. I've known people with dementia. I've known people in failing health. Their spouse is everything. The protector, the guardian, the nursemaid. This woman is rotten to the core. Putting her husband through this is unforgivable. She's disgusting. She really is a disgusting human being, but she doesn't care. She loves the office, the trappings, the power, and she does not want to let it go. His kids, Hunter, unless he's wasted, right? Or maybe he's passed out. Are they watching this? His grandkids, his brother, sister, are they watching this and thinking, yeah, he did okay. He made it through. I don't know what the polls are going to show tomorrow, the bounce, but this was a case where you can't spin it. There's an hour and a half. People watch. Most people aren't watching the post game. They're not reading, the New York Times tomorrow. They're not even going to hear the spin. They know what they saw. And what they saw was an infirmed, incapable, incoherent old man who cannot serve 4 more years. It's just not possible. I know I've said this many times, but he can't do what it takes to become president. He can't campaign. He can't make speeches. He can't hold rallies, and he can't debate. They actually have to do this again in September, which means 3 months. He'll be 3 months older. And I don't know what drugs they used, but it didn't work. The drugs didn't work. Yes, all we got from Biden was incoherent, rambling, stumbling, bumbling, and lies. One lie, one hoax, one bullshit line after another. I can't believe sometimes, I know the man has no standards, no ethics, no scruples, but he repeats the lies that have been debunked. He actually said that Charlottesville, again, what motivated him to run, Charlottesville, he mentioned the bulging veins. He mentioned Donald Trump saying those people were very fine people. It has been debunked by everybody, including Snopes a couple of days ago. Everybody who's paying attention has seen the video. They know it's a lie. Biden doesn't care. He's incapable of pivoting. He's been talking about this lie for 5 years now, and he's sticking with it. He repeated the suckers and losers lie, which has been debunked over and over again. He repeated drinking bleach or injecting bleach. Again, it's been debunked. All he's got are hoaxes and lies and hoaxes, talking about how great everything is in the country, how great the economy is, how wonderful things are on the world stage. Even if he had something, a record to run on, he can't do it. It's not possible. He does not know how. He's not physically, mentally capable. All right, let's get to some of the you're right, Gavin Newsom right now. He's like practicing his speech. He's doing his hair. He's getting ready.
He's on MSNBC right now.
How do they do that with Kamala? She's not going to step aside. Come on, you can't jump over Kamala. She's dumb and she's incompetent, but she's arrogant and she's egotistical, and she knows that the far left is not going to stand for them kicking a black woman out the door to make room for that greasy-headed sleazeball in California. They have a real problem on their hands. And I guess it was smart for Trump not to do anything they could latch onto and say, see, Trump said this or Trump did that or talked about whatever, poisoning the blood. There's nothing they can latch onto. All they can do, Trump's irrelevant today. He really is. Again, he wasn't great. I was getting frustrated. He never mentioned their names. That pisses me off. Jocelyn Nungaray, Rachel Marin, Laken Riley, Molly Tibbetts. It wouldn't have been that hard to memorize 3 or 4 names. Hell, one name. He talked about Jocelyn Nungaray and didn't even say her name. What? You had weeks to prepare for this, Donald Trump. One name? You can't memorize one name? Why? Okay, I'm not going to get caught up in that. He frustrated me. He often does in these situations. But Trump is not relevant. Trump is not the story. Trump did a good job of staying out of the way, essentially. Hell, Jake Tapper and Dana Bash did a good job of staying out of the way. All the focus is on the president. All the focus is on this nursing home escapee who was up there looking in the wrong direction. Did you notice that one? He was looking somewhere the whole time. He was answering. I was looking at some janitor or something. There's no audience. There's no people. Who was he looking at when he was answering?
He was looking for a lifeline anywhere he could get one.
Normally he has that. He has the visiting angels. He has Jill. He has his aides. He has the media. He has someone to help him. He had no help. He was up there alone and he was drowning. And it was amazing. Anyone who tells you this debate was about anything but this vegetable in the White House is lying to you. Anyone who says the story is anything but the empty husk of a man who took the stage right at 9 o'clock, and the first thing he said, you couldn't believe it. I mean, it was shock. He had no voice, and God knows I'm sympathetic to people with raspy voices, but that's not what this was. This was an old man voice, a tired old man. He had a week to prepare for this. He was locked down at Camp David with a team of 16 people to prepare for this. And that's what we got. That's what we got after a week. We got Charlottesville, and we'll get to some of the lowlights because some of the stuff we heard was amazing. And Ironhead and I were just talking. The golf debate was one of the dumbest moments in presidential debate history, where Trump was bragging about winning 2 club championships, which is not true, but so what? And then Biden actually says that when he was vice president, he was a 6 handicap. What? First of all, that means he's not just a liar, he's a child up there bragging about his handicap. He's not a 26. I'd be shocked if he were a 36, a 6 handicap. And Trump did not spend nearly enough time on the laptop. Trump should have demanded Joe Biden admit it's real, admit he lied in the last debate. That's not asking too much. Again, Trump frustrates me so much. I'm sitting there saying, say this, say that. And he just says the same thing over and over. We had an economy like no one's ever seen before. We had the world of peace like no one's ever seen before, over and over again. I get frustrated, but I shouldn't complain because there's nothing Trump said that they could latch on to, nothing that Joe Scarborough and Jonathan Karl and George Stephanopoulos can latch on to. All they can do is explain or try to excuse why their guy sounded like he belongs in a nursing home, like he belongs with a shawl over his waist and a bowl of tapioca watching Judge Judy. That's where he should be tomorrow. He should not be in the White House. It's insane that the greatest country on earth, the most powerful country on earth, has this pathetic shell of a man in the White House. And the thought that he could do it again for 4 more years is just absurd. Okay, it's absurd. The idea that you could vote for him. You can hate Trump all you want, but you can't tell me or yourself or anybody else that he's capable, that he's fit, because he's just not. We saw that. We all saw it with our own eyes, and we heard it with our own ears. We'll get to and again, the big stance, the big surprise is that Biden's going to do something about all those people getting raped by their in-laws. I shouldn't laugh. Not a lot of time on climate change. Trump handled that well. He pivoted away from it. I thought there'd be more time. Oh, and he handled the January 6th question beautifully. That was Trump's finest moment. Biden's finest moment? I don't think there was one. Oh, look, we'll get to some of the highlights and some of the reaction because we went right to MSNBC when it was over. And you know what they did? They looked at each other and said, it was essentially, there's 5 of them on the panel, Joy Reid and Lawrence O'Donnell and Rachel Maddow. And they looked at each other and just said, I got nothing. Nicole Wallace, I got nothing. I mean, they don't know where to go. They don't know what they can do now to help their man because their man is a lost, just helpless, hopeless soul. It's really pathetic. We'll get to the highlights and the lowlights and the reaction, and we'll look ahead. What now? What happens tomorrow? That's the big question. But first,
excuse me.
Have you heard about Senolytics yet? It's a class of ingredients discovered less than 10 years ago, and they're being called the biggest discovery of our time for promoting healthy aging and enhancing your physical prime. Your life goals in your career and beyond require productivity. But let's be honest, the aging process is not our friend when it comes to endless energy and productivity. That's why I use Qualia Senolytic. As we age, everyone accumulates senescent cells in their body. Senescent cells cause symptoms of aging, such as aches and discomfort, slow workout recoveries, sluggish mental and physical energy associated with that middle-age feeling. We all know that feeling. They block nutrients from our healthy cells, but Qualia Senolytic prunes senescent cells away from your healthy cells. Take it just 2 days a month. The formula is non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, and has a money-back guarantee. Qualia Senolytic has helped me be more productive and enthusiastic with fewer aches and pains day to day. To try Qualia Senolytic, go to Qualia Life qualialife.com/Newsmax and use code word Newsmax at checkout for an additional 15% off. That's qualialife.com/Newsmax and use promo code Newsmax. I know we have more important things to get to. We got to get to some of the substance and the January 6th talk and all that. But do we have the someone has to transcribe this. Someone's job at CNN, at the White House, they have to transcribe the answers. I was trying to do it with one answer. I was like trying to take notes. And Joe Biden doesn't ever speak in simple declarative sentences. There's no rhythm. There's no sense to any of it. None of it. Trump's not a hell of a lot better, but Biden is just so incoherent. I don't even know what the question. What was the question about Ironhead? What was?
I don't even remember. Are you talking about the Medicare thing?
I'm talking about the getting the Greg Price posted at the getting people getting raped by their sisters.
Oh, I have no clue. I think it was about the border, but he just turned it into the Biden family stuff.
I mean, I think he was trying to. Oh, it was Trump went. He mentioned that he spoke to Jocelyn Nungary's mother, which is good. I wanted that. But why couldn't he just say her name? Why couldn't he say her mother's name? Why couldn't he give us the details? Jocelyn Nungary's 12 years old. She was murdered, savagely tortured and murdered by two subhuman savages from Venezuela who came into this country because Joe Biden let them in a couple months ago. Joe Biden has blood on his hands. She would be alive. Jocelyn Nungary would be alive today if not for Joe Biden's policy to just allow this country to be invaded by tens of millions of illegal aliens. Why can't Trump say that? Why can't he just articulate that? I think when he prepared for this, he should have had one answer, a couple of sentences about that with her name, with the details, and then thrown it at Biden and said, what do you have to say to her mother, Joe? Why can't he do that? Anyway, I won't get caught up in it. I'll just sit back and enjoy the just gibberish from this fossil. I don't even know what the question was, but let's listen to the answer. Go ahead.
It was about abortion. Frank is correct.
Oh, it started with abortion. That's all. That's his favorite topic, abortion. Everyone to get an abortion. Just abortion. That's all they got. Abortion on January 6th. That's it. Let's try to make sense of this.
Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that, but here's the deal: there's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters, it's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
Saved by the bell
What?
there.
A lot of women are being raped by their sisters? The President of the United States just said that, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the President of the United States said a lot of women are being raped by their in-laws and their sisters. Joe Scarborough going to get to that tomorrow, you think? You think he's going to mention that? That's
it's unavoidable, really.
Getting raped by their sisters. All right, let me... Where did it go from there? I think Trump was in shock. I mean, if, again, he was really on the ball, he'd say, Joe, what woman is getting raped by her sister? He tried to pivot from the border, and he said Trump went to the funeral. He didn't go to the funeral. Where did that come from? You know, Trump didn't go to Jocelyn. He should have gone. He couldn't have gone because it was this afternoon. It was a couple of hours before the debate. Another reason Trump should have brought it up. Should have said, they just buried Jocelyn Nungary today. Joe, what do you have to say to her mother? Joe Biden, we can do a quick rundown of the lies. He said he's the only president who has had no soldiers die on his watch. No soldiers. I mean, it's bad enough that he doesn't reach out to the Gold Star parents, that he looked at his watch when the caskets came home. But then he says no soldiers died on his watch. The 13 servicemen who died during his disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, does he not even know about that? Did he forget? Does he not care? That's a good question. I don't know about sisters, people getting raped by their sisters, but I know of a young girl who took a shower with her father. Maybe Trump should have brought that up. But they went from the economy to abortion, to the border, to Ukraine, Israel, democracy, Charlottesville, climate, addiction. And Trump did a pretty good job of steering it back to the border at times. I know that was the goal. And he mentioned it. I don't care. Never enough. He should have mentioned it with every answer. He should have said, Joe, the border. What about the border? Why did you open the border? What's the goal? What's the policy? Why do you want an open border? He said the Border Patrol endorsed him. Joe Biden did. And quickly, the Border Patrol Union tweets out, to be clear, we have never and never will endorse Joe Biden. So that's just made up. And they talk about fact-checking Trump. I'm sorry, Trump does tell lies. He does. I don't think he won 2 club championships. But no one has ever lied like Joe Biden, like he's breathing. When he's answering a question, he's lying about the economy, about the wars, about the border. The Border Patrol, they hate your guts, Joe Biden. They despise everything you stand for. They're more than anyone want you to lose. They want a secure border. We know that. They're disgusted with your policies. They would never endorse you. He just makes it up. That's what happens when, you don't get fact-checked. You don't get called out, and he doesn't. But let's get to Trump's finest moment. I would say, and he knew this was coming. He was prepared. It was a good move. They asked about January 6th. You knew that was coming. Jake Tapper. Again, Jake Tapper was not a problem. He did not show his true colors. We know he loves Biden. We know he thinks Trump is Hitler. But he played it straight, probably because he was under so much pressure, because everyone was accusing him of being a hack, which he is. And he wanted to show that he could be fair. And he went out of his way to be, I guess, fair. He did not step on Trump. He did not scold him. He did not really appear to help Biden. So I can't bash or Tapper. But he was ready with the January 6th question and the insurrection and all that threat to democracy garbage. And Trump did a good job of one thing every time. He gave the answer he wanted to give. He didn't give the answer they were looking for. He didn't care, essentially, what the question was. He would say what he wanted to say. Did he do it eloquently? Not exactly. But he did steer the conversation his way, and that was good. That was a good move. Here he is answering Jake Tapper's question about January 6th, and I thought this was the best moment, the best answer of the night. Go ahead.
Protect and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about.
That's good. Don't say January, don't defend January 6th. He did. He talked about people being arrested on January 6th. And he did, at one point, give the answer about, I think it was about Charlottesville. And he said, there's a Charlottesville happening every day in this country. And they are. But and Biden allows it, enables it. We see it. There's rampant anti-Semitism in the streets, in the cities. We see attacks on Jewish people. Trump could have spent a little time on that. He didn't, but he has a limited capacity to remember or to bring up a lot of facts. Let's be honest. He sticks to the few, and it worked. There are going to be polls. There are probably already polls on who won, and it's got to be 98-2. It can't even be close. It's just so. Again, Trump didn't. There it is. CNN debate winner, Gavin Newsom. It's true. I guess that's what you could say. If you're, Joe Scarborough or Mike Barnicle or whoever, you could say Trump wasn't great. You can, but your guy was a disaster. We'll get to some of the reaction. Again, I had to watch. I had to right after it was over. I looked for MSNBC. What would they say? And I was kind of shocked. They did not say. They did not lie. Usually Scarborough will, but most of them, Nicole Wallace, Joy Reid even, they did not just come on TV and lie and say, our guy did it. He was steady. He was the adult in the room. I was expecting a little of that. Didn't get it. They know their guy sucked, and they know tomorrow is big. Tomorrow is when the murmurs become louder, and the word gets around that there's a lot of talk about dumping Joe, moving on from Joe. The problem, I say this all the time, is Joe is not only old, angry, he's egotistical. He's a narcissist. He thinks I beat Trump once, I can do it again. He's not going to go quietly. You can't just nudge him and say, Joe, it's time. He will go kicking and screaming. So they have a big, big problem on their hands, which means they have which is why they have to put Trump in jail. That's all they can do. That's his only hope right now. Put Trump in jail. And Trump did talk about the weaponization, which is so true. They can only hammer on the threat to democracy bullshit so much because they're trying to put Trump in jail. So the whole threat to democracy doesn't quite fly, but they have to get serious tomorrow in the Democrat Party about who is going to step in for Joe. We'll give you the visceral reaction from MSNBC, and we'll get the quick flash polls. We'll try to find the flash polls on who won. But first.
Excuse me.
Economists warn that massive tax hikes could devastate your IRA and 401k as the stock market braces for impact. I'm Greg Kelly, and I urge you to fortify your savings with physical gold with my friends at Priority Gold. To learn how gold and silver can help diversify your savings, call 1-800-405-GOLD or visit PriorityGold.com to get a free gold information guide. That's 1-800-405-GOLD.
All right, let's talk about something inspiring. Ahmed Abu Hashima, one of the biggest entrepreneurs in Egypt and the entire MENA region, a prominent figure in business and politics, recently shared an eye-opening study in the Egyptian Senate. He emphasized the world's potential in AI, learning from UAE's pioneering efforts. Ahmed Abu Hashima, an AI enthusiast, highlighted in his study how AI can transform our healthcare, education, and industry. Imagine boosting efficiency, improving patient care with predictive analytics, personalizing education, and enhancing industrial productivity through automation. His vision is clear. The entire world can achieve remarkable growth by embracing AI. The study also addresses concerns about the impact on jobs and the workforce, emphasizing the need for adaptation and new skills. This comprehensive analysis serves as an important reference for leveraging AI for global development and future preparedness, drawing on the successful strategies implemented by the UAE.
Imagine if he was that coherent right now.
When they talk about Joe Biden beating before, Joe Biden's, they love that one. Joe Biden thinks he's not the same guy. I mean, he was always stupid and he was always corrupt. But 4 years ago, he wasn't senile. 4 years ago, he didn't have a cold 4 years ago. He was somewhat functional. That's over. You know what Lawrence O'Donnell said? We're going to get some of the reaction from MSNBC. His immediate reaction was, yeah, he's old, but Warren Buffett is 10 years older. Like, if this weren't on TV, if we didn't all see it, they could give it their best effort and say, he's old, but he's wise, got wisdom and experience. He's younger than Warren Buffett. That doesn't work. We all saw it. The big concern is age. The big concern is mental state. And that was the question going into the debate. And we got our answer. And we know Michelle Obama has no interest in the job. We know she's not a candidate. And there's no one else. Gavin Newsom, I guess. But the only way you do that is by stepping over. I don't even know. I'd love to. I can't predict because there is no good answer if you're a Democrat. You are screwed. The country, on the other hand, is in good shape because we have to end this nightmare. This lawless regime has to go, and it sure does look today. I mean, it looked before the debate. It looked good. All the polls, all the predictions, all the 538 guys were saying Trump had a 70% chance of winning, 75% chance. That has to be 80, 85% now. Hillary, she would love it. Hillary Clinton would love to step in the breach, but she is just lonesome. She lost to Trump. She's an old, bitter woman. She has no appeal, none. She would be worse than Kamala or Joe Biden. So that ain't going to work. But is this the initial reaction from Rachel Maddow's, the host of this panel? And they're all just crestfallen. Lawrence O'Donnell, Joy Reid, Nicole Wallace, Chris Hayes. These are Biden's biggest fans, Trump's biggest haters. And they watched and they could not find a way. They could not put on a performance the way Scarborough will and pretend this was anything short of a disaster. Let's watch a little bit of it.
That is the first presidential debate of the 2024 election cycle at a very unusual time with very unusual format. And I think with probably strange results. We'll see the response from both sides. But if you're the Biden campaign, I think you wish that this night will be remembered in reverse as the president became sort of stronger, including his voice, the strength of his voice over the course of the night, probably peaking towards the very, very end of the debate. For the Trump campaign, I think it's fair to say it was the inverse. President Trump, just in terms of his coherence and finishing a sentence and seeming to be in control of his own emotions, started off as strong as he was. The strongest point for him was at the very beginning of the debate. And then over the course of the night, he became less coherent and more visibly flustered. I don't think either of these campaigns, either of these candidates is going to feel like this was a shining moment for them. But I think that first initial impression, Nicole, of President Biden walking out and his voice being very hard to hear. It's hard to tell what he was saying because his voice was so weak. And his halting delivery in his first couple of answers has got to have put a shock into the campaign, at least at the start, before he started to get stronger.
Credit to MSNBC here too, because everyone on this panel was like, what are you talking about?
No, they did. She went right to Nicole Wallace, who is she hates Trump more than anybody. And she said, tomorrow morning, things are going to start happening. Tomorrow morning is when they all start saying, we need an alternative. Look at the face. Look at Joy Reid's face. If you're watching along, this is 2 minutes after the debate, and they go to Joy Reid, and she is just sick. She despises Trump. She knows what she just saw is probably the end for her guy. I mean, it's the best. Trump, again, didn't have a great night, but he did have a great night because the guy next to him just self-immolated, just completely fell apart before the world. Let's listen to Joy.
I, too, was on the phone throughout much of the debate with Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic. The people who were texting with me were very concerned about President Biden seeming extremely feeble, seeming extremely weak. And, I'll just reiterate what I said earlier. President Biden had one job tonight. And it had one primary job. And yes, it was to litigate Donald Trump's, criminality and all of those things. But he had to settle his own party. Mm-hmm. He needed to settle Democrats. Democrats, they always talk about Democrats are bedwetters and Democrats are always panicking. Yes, Democrats are always panicking. They're always scared, right? They're always thinking they're going to lose. Like Democrats are very pessimistic. This is just neurotic. Who they are. They're neurotic. But Joe Biden's job was to reassure them tonight. His job was to calm his party, to make them feel that, yes, I can do this. I have 4 more years in me. I have the ability and the stamina and the strength to do 4 more years. He did not do that. He did the opposite of that. He made them more panicked. Mm-hmm. The people who were texting me were even more panicked. They actually expected it to be better than it was. And now they're in I won't say a full-fledged panic, but it's getting there.
And are people that you're talking to who are expressing these concerns, are these people who are involved in Democratic politics, or yes, are these liberals watching TV?
These are not liberals watching TV. These are campaign people. Mm. These are people who are either Democratic operatives. These are people who are former, sort of Obama world administration people. These are people who are in the business. Okay. So the civilians are also panicking. They're also texting me, but I was trying to kind of ignore the civilians and really talk to the campaign folks. People are, they're worried.
Feeble. Joy Reid called Joe Biden feeble. I didn't even do that. That is the end right there. What you just saw is a eulogy for Joe Biden. This is a woman who spends her show every night propping up the old man, and she just said he was feeble. You can't be feeble, 81 years old, feeble, and serve 4 more years as president. That's not possible. That is the end. It is over. The end of Joe Biden as a viable candidate. And it's their own fault. We knew he was feeble long ago, and they said, he's doing a great job. The economy is wonderful. And I think Trump never said the word groceries. Groceries, that's the biggest issue. Border and, inflation. Groceries. You go to the grocery store, you're paying 25%, 30% more because of him. Why can't he do that? I got to get over it because it's not important. Trump won. Everyone knows it. Trump won easily. Biden lost. Biden failed in every way. Biden failed to appear coherent, lucid, viable. It was an utter failure by Joe Biden, and that's good for the country. What else we got, Ironhead?
Here we have him talking about defeating Medicare.
Oh, yeah. He started talking about his son, too, in Iraq and the burn pits. I mean, he has 6 thoughts in that decaying brain, and they just come out whenever they just blur. It doesn't care if they're true. He just blurts them out. All right, let's, they love to talk about prescription drug prices, and Trump plays along. He should just say, I don't care about that. I care about the border and Jocelyn Nungaray.
Yeah, this was like 5 minutes in, and Biden's brain completely shuts off already.
Oh yeah, this is good. This is good. Let's watch.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President.
Oh yeah, I was tweeting about that. We finally beat Medicare.
Trump's response was perfect.
That is. Sometimes Trump's facial expressions, they go a little too far. This was perfect. Just looking at him. And then Trump, when he answered, said, I don't know what he just said, which was great. We finally beat Medicare. So we beat Medicare, and now we're going to do something about the people getting raped by their sisters. That's the takeaway from the president of the United States from tonight.
Yeah, he goes, I finally beat Medicare. And Trump's like, yeah, you did beat Medicare. You beat it to death.
Yeah, that's right. He did. That was good. Good Trump. But let's be honest. You could have put anyone up there against Biden tonight. And as long as they didn't get in the way, they would win. They would defeat this decrepit old man. This was 7 days of preparation. This was drugs pumping through his veins. This was all the pressure in the world. And he choked and he sucked and he just failed miserably. This was just a train wreck of epic proportions. It was the big moment. As Joy Reid said, they were looking to him, show us you're capable of 4 more years. Show us you can do it, Joe. And he did anything but. He showed you just the opposite, that he's incapable of doing it for 4 more years. Maybe not even 4 more months.
I don't know.
I mean, October, November, this guy, we saw it tonight, this guy is supposed to show up. And what happens if there's, a terrorist attack? What happens if there's a escalation of the war in Russia? I mean, some big things could happen on his watch. And that guy, this feeble old man who's babbling on about how he beat Medicare and how people are getting raped by their sisters, that guy is supposed to handle it? Yeah. Sure thing, Joe. Sure thing.
And they're supposed to do this again?
No shit. In September.
Yeah.
They're supposed to do it again on ABC, the network of Jimmy Kimmel, another network where everybody there hates Trump, George Stephanopoulos. They're supposed to do it again in 1, 2, 3 months. Sure. Do it again. He's supposed to, get the nomination at the convention in Chicago, which is going to be wild, where all the pro-Hamas lunatics are going to be burning, tearing up the streets. And I know they're going to make some of it virtual to protect him. That's their job the next 4 months, protect him.
Yeah.
But they can't protect him 24 hours a day. COVID is over. He's got to hit the road. He's got to do events, speeches, a convention. It's just going to be, it's going to get worse. As I've been saying for 3 years, 3.5, 4 years now, he's not going to get better. He's going to get worse. That's a medical reality. The man is going to continue to deteriorate before our eyes. And it would be funny if we didn't have a country to save. It's still kind of funny, to be honest with you. Still kind of funny. Listen to him brag about his 6 handicap. What a child. He said, yeah, I'll play you if we carry our own bags.
Yeah.
What?
That was the tweet. Remember that? One of those jump, 18 edits in 12 seconds videos?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll play him. I mean, Trump is totally, he's the opposite of a sandbagger. He lies about his handicap, but he's a good golfer. Biden's terrible. We've seen him. We've seen him hit a golf ball. He's terrible. And he's like, I'll play in a match or carry our own bags. It's like, what are you, a friggin' 12-year-old? And one last stupid thing that annoys me. The least presidential thing he says is, guess what? Guess what? He sounds like a 10-year-old girl. Guess what? Guess what? That's not presidential. Stop saying, guess what?
Don't.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those rare things that he remembers that sticks in his head when he says, guess what? Guess what? All right, we got lots of comments. Should I read some comments?
Sure, why not?
What the hell is that?
Yeah, in the meantime, I'll play the...
What else?
I got the golf thing, but I want to play Trump's response when he was like, I have no idea what he just said, and I don't think he does either.
Good point by Lovecraft Cat. He says, just wait till Biden gets over his cold. He's going to kick Trump's ass. Just wait till he shakes that pesky cold. NBC, I just sent you the tweet. This is a real tweet from NBC, from, what's her name? Kelly O'Donnell. Mm-hmm. Real tweet. New. 2 sources familiar with the situation say, quote, President Biden has a cold. That's a real tweet from a real journalist. President Biden has a cold. Oh, God, I'm going to have to set my alarm, get out and hear Joe Scarborough right off the top, talk about what a bad cold Joe has. Needed a little Sudafed, that's all. Maybe the Sudafed wouldn't have mixed well with the Adderall and all the other drugs they pumped them full of. All right, what else we got from the golf thing was so stupid. Honest to God, I just want to say, don't do this, Donald. Don't talk about how great a golfer you are. He talked about how he's in better shape than he was 20 years ago. You know, he's just, yeah. I'm a little heavy. So what? My mind is right. This guy, he's skinny, but he's senile. That's what he should have said. But let's listen to them have this juvenile debate about golf.
Just take a look at what he says he is and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie that he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8. But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing. Let's not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to.
Let's not act like children.
You are a child.
He should have left it at that.
No, that's a good answer. Biden just says, I was 6 handicap. And then he says, that's the biggest lie, which is true. That is a total lie. That is a demonstrable lie. He's not even, and he says, I was an 8 handicap.
I was an 8. I was an 8.
I was an 8. I'm not really a 6. I made that up. That's the president. That is a child. I was a 6, which even if it were true, it's childish, but it's not. It's just so ridiculous, so ludicrous. We've seen you swing a golf club, Joe. You're not a 30 handicap, but what else? What else we got?
This was I have no idea what he just said, quote.
You know what? You could play any clip. Any clip. He did not have a lucid, coherent answer for 90 minutes. There was not one. If he wasn't lying, he was stumbling and slurring and losing his way. But this is a good, quick bounce back or reply from Trump. Go ahead.
Continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country.
That's good. You know why? You know why the border's so good? Not just because it's a disaster, because it's simple and everyone understands it. And nobody believes Joe Biden. We said, they just won't give me the tools. The Republicans in the Senate are holding it. Everyone knows he could return to Trump's policies today if he wanted to. Everyone knows he did this for a reason, to just flood the country with potential Democrat voters. And women are dying. Children are dying as a result. They know that. So you don't really have to go back and forth on the particulars. All you have to say is, he opened the border, I closed the border, he wants illegals here, he thinks women are expendable, they're collateral damage, I want to stop the carnage. That's it. It's a winning issue. It's the issue. I want Trump to do that every day. I want him to hold a rally. He should, go down and visit Jocelyn Nungary's mother, who let her 12-year-old daughter go out at midnight. But, that's beside the point. She's a grieving mother. My heart breaks for her. He should be mentioning Laken Riley, mentioning Rachel Murren every day. Keep it up, Donald. It's a great issue for you. It's the worst thing Joe Biden has done, the worst thing any president has ever done in the history of the republic. The worst. There's never been a president who did anything close, anything as damaging as opening the border and allowing this invasion. Oh, before we go, a Massachusetts judge, we told you all about the illegal alien from Haiti who raped a disabled 15-year-old at a hotel in Rockland a couple months ago, went before a judge today, yesterday, or whatever, this week, released on $500 bail. Yep. $500. Walked out. Not a flight risk or anything. An illegal alien from Haiti, rapist. What is it with Democrat judges, with liberal judges, with liberals on a period? Why do they have a soft spot in their hearts for illegal aliens who rape disabled children? I mean, if you could lay down the law over anything, wouldn't that be it? Wouldn't that be the one point where you say, I know I'm a liberal, I know I'm a squish, I know I feel bad for criminals, but I can't do it this time? He, make his bail $1 million, no bail, whatever. Let him walk. And they won't tell ISIS. They won't tell ICE. They won't tell ICE. They don't cooperate with ICE. They just let him go. $500, he's free to go. And no verdict yet in the Karen Reed trial. I'm getting a little worried. I don't understand. I thought it'd be a day, maybe a day and a half. Jury's still out. Hopefully they come back tomorrow and do the right thing, because she's obviously...
People keep making the point, though. Remember, Rittenhouse took 27 hours.
Well, how many hours? They got to get this done, though. The longer it goes, the more chance there is of a hung jury. There's no chance of a conviction, but a hung jury.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. We need to get this trial over with so they can start busting the crooked cops and the toothless McAlberts and get them all to turn on each other. It's going to get even better. Phase 2 is going to get even better. But we will leave it there for this, for today, this special edition of the Callahan Show, post-debate That was fun. Ironhead, I had a good time.
It's a great time.
We will be gone for a couple of days. I got a little bit going on. My daughter's getting married. If you can, maybe you can hear in the background, all her friends, they're having a final flame, having a good time. But I am giving away my only daughter in a couple of days. But we'll be back next week, I think, I hope. And we'll have lots to talk about, I'm sure. But that will do it for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for commenting. Look at all these comments. That's true. He says, if he flees, the rapist, Biden will fly him back into the country. He'll put him in a hotel wherever he wants. He'll be surrounded by, illegal alien children. He'll have his way.
He'll give him a cabinet position.
It's not going to end, at least not till January 2025. All right. Thanks, Ironhead. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we will talk to you again next week.
But I'm going to go to bed.
It's our America. We conquered it. We built it. Great values like honesty and fairness. Great courage. A great nation needs a free press. Newsmax is it. 30 million Americans regularly go to Newsmax when they really need to know. They watch Newsmax TV at home. On the free Newsmax app, they go to Newsmax.com. Start today. Newsmax is real news for real people.